Gary, good evening. It's November 2018, and I just want to share with you the fact that I'm absolutely thrilled that we've built another rather useful Raspberry Pi computer. And the topic for the discussion today is the Raspberry Pi. So I'm just going to do a quick demo of the lovely YouTube video that's going to run. You can see that. So you can see by the size of the keyboard, which is a regular size keyboard, how small the actual screen is. It's a 10-inch screen. And we've got just a regular YouTube video playing. Actually, it's playing over the Wi-Fi. So we're going to stop that. We're going to shrink the screen. Standard browser. And if I can get the browser out of full screen mode and close it, you see Raspberry Pi desktop. What I'm going to do is just shut the guy down. You'll see it shuts down pretty quickly, and then we're just going to examine what's been made and why it's so great. Shut down. I'm going to power off the back. So the backstory is that we already use the Raspberry Pi in multiple environments. It's our number one go-to glue computer. We have it, for example, to help control our blinds within the house, and that goes via a demotic software which is housed on the Raspberry Pi. It's also used for trivial things like monitoring of the internet. So if you look down here, we've got a Raspberry Pi doing a graphical representation of our in and out internet streams, which is good to keep an eye on since there's a few web servers behind. So we're mostly looking at the upload speeds. But back to this little fella. We've finished building it today, and I think this might be the sort of boilerplate format for future devices. First of all, I'll sing the praises of this Microsoft keyboard. It's a pretty decent keyboard. It does have an integrated trackpad. If you're not forcibly left-handed, I am mostly left-handed, but I can use a right-handed mouse, so I can use this without too much difficulty. It's a pretty decent keyboard. It also means you just need one USB device to plug into the Raspberry Pi. This is a 10-inch screen. Now, the story about the 10-inch screen is that I first bought one from China, and it cost about something like £50, £50 to £60, but it was a bare screen without the case. I've subsequently found the case makes a huge difference. Without the case, it's very, very annoying. And this case, the original screen was used on the main server, because it's hard to believe, but the main server won't start without a VGA screen being connected. And this was that VGA screen for a while. But now I've gone legit, and we've bought a couple of these screens. Now they're still about £60–70, but this is the same exactly the same 10-inch screen, but it's housed in a nice metal case, and it's got a few pluses. For example, it has a speaker. But what I want to show you is the Raspberry Pi build. So here we are. This is as is, basically. There's a small power brick that comes with the screen, and that feeds into the screen itself here. Now, luckily, the screen has a USB output here, and that's sufficiently powerful to drive the Raspberry Pi. So this is the Raspberry Pi 3B+. We've inserted pretty much our standard SD card now. So we tend to use a 32 gigabyte A1 speed, so that's faster than Class 10 card. And of course, the install only takes, well, I'd be surprised if it takes 5 gigs. So there's a lot of space left on the machine. We could use a web server, we could use it for logging. We have another Raspberry Pi, for example, which is got a Pi hat on it, and that's got various sensors, like a pressure sensor, a thermal sensor, and we do log in another room in the house all of those parameters into a file. So that file can get quite large depending how often we flush it. So there are occasions when you need a lot of space. 32 gig is probably pushing it, but these days the price of 32 gig cards is, in England anyway, it's about 20 GBP for the A1 speed card. So just to complete the description here, we've got the output, the HDMI output from the Raspberry Pi with this lovely short cable which actually came with the screen going to the HDMI socket. You'll see there are other sockets. There's a VGA socket and there's a sort of coax and television type sockets here as well. So it's a very versatile screen. We're not really using all the facilities. However, what we are using it for is a standalone Raspberry Pi computer. So our normal game plan is the following. We build the Raspberry Pi computer. Let's just turn it on so I can talk. So as you power it on, of course, it's going to initialize the screen, and then when the screen's initialized, it's going to actually boot the system. I like all the best demos. It's not working. There we go. HDMI, Raspberry Pi logo startup. So what we tend to do is in the future, I think this will be our standard configuration. We're going to build the system like this. We're going to plug in the Microsoft keyboard and mouse. We'll finish the build of Raspbian. We'll install all the relevant software that we need. We'll make sure that VNC and SSH are running. Do some security hardening. And then make it a headless computer. Obviously in Raspberry config you can turn it to command line login, so if we don't need a graphical desktop we can remove that, but I personally think that I'll probably leave the graphical desktop and just SSH secure shell into the machine as needed. So once the machine's reached production state, we'll take out the USB stick, we'll put the keyboard away, and it'll just be a standalone computer like this. So yeah, and in terms of pricing, the actual Raspberry Pi is about £40. Let's say the screen's about £60 or £70. The memory card's about £20. So you're looking at under £150 for a pretty capable computer. And again, this computer can be a glue computer for so many things. I think the next project that we're going to use this for is a weather station controller. We've bought a weather station which comes with a display with a USB output. It does come with a Windows program, but we are going to write or make use of any existing Linux programs which can take the data out of that weather station and then send it to things like the Weather Underground and log it for ourselves. So yeah, it's going to make a fine computer for that kind of task. Again, if VNC is running, you can even stick this computer in a cupboard and just access it from your main server screen via VNC. So that's another option as well. So again, that's what we typically do with that internet feed display. We can access that from our infrastructure just via VNC. Okay, Dario, thanks for watching. Hope you found this useful.